What's up, everybody? It's Jeff, and today we have a very special episode. A Radiant player that I used to coach wanted me to review his aim training routine and give him some feedback on it and maybe tell him why he didn't feel so good while doing it. So, what you're going to get to see today is the part of our session where I reviewed what he was already doing and talked to him about what he could do differently and better in order to get more out of the aim training routine. Now, we did a whole 2-hour session. I guided him through several exercises and helped him build a new training routine that targeted the areas we found to be the weakest, but what you're going to get to see today is just that portion where we go over what he was already doing. Hopefully we'll get to do this more in the future, have other players that want to get their aim reviewed and also are willing to have it uploaded. But a huge shout out to Bang TK on Prestige Esports for letting me put this on YouTube. Hopefully some of you guys find this helpful. Before we get into that, be sure to like and subscribe. That way you can catch all the future content and see if we do this again. Thanks. I'll see you in the video. As far as this goes, one of the positives that I saw in this when watching it through, because a lot of these were repeated, you do it twice, was that your second go around was often better than your first attempt. Maybe not always on score, but in terms of like you doing the right thing and understanding the point of why you're in this particular drill. Right? So there's a couple things specifically, though, that I wanted to look at, and then we'll talk about the order in which you're approaching these exercises and kind of the thought process that you have within these exercises. This is... How do you feel about this sequence right here? How do you feel you did with this sequence of shots?
Bad.
Bad? You want to know why you feel that way?
Yeah.
Let's watch this. You see that? What's wrong with that?
It's not a straight line at all.
Okay.
Yeah, they stopped like twice. I did like 4 micro flicks.
For sure. And look at how far you're leading these targets. Look at that. You don't even move your crosshair. Right? You recognize that it's going to pass over it.
And they just stopped. Yeah.
You just wait. Is that really
good? No.
Aiming? No. That's
No.
not. That's not actually going to help you improve. And we can see
Agreed.
it at somewhere earlier on the timeline. So if you look at this, you're flicking to your target, and you don't have any control over your arm flicks, right?
No.
Like, you can see it in this this one where you go left right here, right? You're like, God, I hope I get close to this circle, sort of, maybe even on it. You're just kind of dragging your mouse over there because you know you need to be near it. And that's, that's a starting point for a lot of people, right? But we're talking about you being a Radiant player. Where do you want your crosshair to end up? Very specifically. Behind
the target or in front of it? I don't know.
Okay.
But so like at the same level?
Yeah. So this target is moving, right? And it's on your screen now, and you've decided you're going to go to it. Which direction is it moving?
Left.
Left. So where does your crosshair need to go?
Left. Off the target?
Yes. To the left of the target. So your arm needs to be focused on putting it... Yeah, so I was a couple steps ahead there. But, your arm needs to be focused on putting your crosshair on the left side of that target in its path. Now, we saw in that example from later on, towards 8.5 minutes or so, that you were putting your crosshair way in front of the target. Is that helpful in a game where players can change direction?
No.
No. How close to that target do you want to be?
Very close.
Very close, right? You want to touch the edge, if possible. So you see how fast this is moving. You know where you need to be, so you probably need to put your crosshair like right here. And the faster you are, the closer you are to just aiming at that point on the target, right? Because when you're really good in terms of controlling your upper arm, and your recognition of your next target is there. Like, you've got good mental recognition of, like, this is where I'm going to go next, this is where I'm going to be looking next. Then being able to place your crosshair on that inside edge, on the far side of your target as it's moving away from you, right? So on the inside of the leading edge of your target, that's where you want to try and get to. But if you're going to get there, what you have to focus on is those fundamentals of, like, first you got to be able to recognize that that's the next target you're going to, and you've got to drill that in. You've got to develop that skill, and then you have to work on that straight line with your upper arm. You need to be able to move your crosshair very far distances without that wobble, utilizing, you know, your biceps and your triceps and your shoulder and all that. And then you need to have a clean stop and a nice micro flick using your wrist and your fingers up to put it in the center
back
of
on the target.
Yeah, just to confirm your placement, and then you get that click. And so you just develop that over and over and over again. But you need to build those fundamentals individually, and they have to be in your head when you're doing stuff like this. And I don't think that they are in your head as you're going through these exercises, because it seems like your focus is mostly on, 1, hitting the target, 2, the fact that you're lagging behind Grim or Novak on almost every exercise that you're doing. So I think that the score is in your head. I think that you're trying to push your speed a lot. And I think that you aren't necessarily taking the time in between tasks to recognize what you're here to do in this task, right? Like, what the purpose of this particular task is designed to accomplish. I've got another one that I want to talk about, another instance. So we're going to watch this here. Keep in mind, we're still at half speed. Okay. What's wrong with that sequence? Other than stuff we've already talked about.
Did it go back again? What, shooting the target like twice?
Nope.
Or like missing and like not moving to another one?
That's okay. That's okay. It's
okay.
not ideal. It's not ideal, but it's okay. Right?
I mean, I really just don't have like a map, like a road map, like where I'm gonna go, like overall. But I think we talked about that already, right?
Yeah, that is something that's important here. But what's funny about this is that you do. Look at where we're at. So you shoot the middle target, you shoot this target, and then you go down. But you know that there's this target in the top right corner. You get that target. So look at where your crosshair immediately goes back to, right? And then look at this. You adjust down, even though you were actually closer to this target.
And like it's the same movement as well, right?
Yeah. It's not something like you just bring your target up to this top right corner, you know, and you're not. Obviously, this is a wide wall, so you don't have the screen information over there. Like, you don't know. But you know that there's no targets over here, right? You're already at the bottom of your mouse pad. So what you should do in this instance is move across the bottom, because it's always easier to go up. But if you're just trying to swing your screen, then going here and then readjusting down isn't nearly as good. But it looks like you're taking your crosshair to this target, and then you stop very close and readjust to a completely different direction. And yeah, this is another point where you can see that for a little while there, you're just kind of blindly swinging your crosshair toward the dot, but you're not super focused on getting your long distance flick really nice. You're just focused on getting your long distance flick toward the target. Not like that one was a great example. You just landed it right where you want to. And some of these are really crisp, and then it just starts lagging behind on others. Like that. That one was really rough. You knew that target was there. You didn't focus on taking it right where you wanted to. You did have a nice straight line, but it wasn't...
on the target.
Yeah,
was
the
very
micro
off.
flick was big, and we want to minimize the distance of that
them.
micro
Yeah.
flick as much as possible. There's one other one where I think you just kind of have a bad sense of what exactly this scenario is meant to do. So
I had no idea what the fuck to do here.
Yeah, so this scenario, the main stress point of this scenario, right, isn't about the width. Because we've got the wide wall for the width. So if you're working on wide flicks to the left or the right, we've got the wide wall for that. It's focused only on that. It's not particularly strong at anything else. It's just about your horizontal crosshair movement from one side of the screen to the other. So when possible, you want to ping pong left to right. And that way, also, you'll kind of have some targets on either side of your screen, so you can have that mental map of, okay, well, I'm going to go back to that top left corner, and then I'm going to go to the top right corner, and I remember that one spawned kind of towards the bottom left middle, and you can go left and right and focus on those wide motions with your mouse, keeping those nice and clean. But this one adds in above and below. So what do you think your focus should be on a map like this?
No, what I tried doing is like going up and then like mid and then down. Mm-hmm. Like going like from right to left like that, or going like from left to right like that.
But do you think that you get the most benefit from going left to right, or from going up and down on a map like this?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you,
like
the answer is the up and down, right? There's not a single task in this playlist that has as much of a vertical range as this one. There's nothing that has you looking straight down, and there's nothing that has you looking straight up, except for this one. So what I would recommend in a task like this is never go right to left if at all possible. Chain your targets top to bottom and then adjust into kind of that next row of targets, right? Because here you see you just kind of circle around the top, but when in a game of Valorant are you going to be circling around looking that far into the air?
Probably never, besides maybe crazy maps.
Yeah, if you're taking first contact against arrays satcheling over your head, you might have to do that. But that's a different kind of like training from this. Whereas how many times do you need to like shoot somebody far away and then look straight down to shoot somebody peeking from right below you? Let's say you're retaking Haven A site from heaven.
Yeah, but like even then, well, I mean, yeah.
It's more applicable, right? It's not. Yeah, it's still
applicable.
Not great. In terms of like this kind, this kind of range is insane. This is a lot. This is a lot of vertical movement, which is good because it will test you beyond what you need in the game. If you can have clean vertical movement of this distance, that will make you much stronger at shooting targets that appear above and below you.
Alright, what's up guys, it's Chris. I'm going to stop the video here and I'm going to continue in part 2 of next week. It's going to be the same exact video, it's just going to be the remaining footage from this video here, just put into a different video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Peace, peace.